I am joined by Janelle Gordon to break down part 4 of Kevin Samuels' 7-part interview with the girls in Miami. Today's topic, Kevin Samuels tells modern women, he lets them know in no uncertain terms. I am joined by Janelle Gordon. Oh, wait a minute, hold on. I forgot to mute myself on the other side.
That's okay.
There we go.
So,
all right. Good
God
God.
is here.
I gotta listen. I gotta tighten up. On the production side. That's what she said. Starts.
That is what you said.
That's exactly right. Starts right.
That's what she said.
What's up, guys? It's your man, Donovan Sharpe, and welcome to the 3rd edition of That's What She Said. I am your host, your co-host, Donovan Sharpe. I am joined, as always, by the lovely and talented Janelle Gordon. Janelle, how are we doing today?
Amazing, outstanding, orgasmic, as per usual.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Absolutely. I was not orgasmic yesterday. I just didn't have time. Honestly, to be honest with you, today is January 11th. Devin and I have not had sex this year. We have not had sex this year at all. The last time we had sex was New Year's Eve. This is just how it goes sometimes. We get super busy, and but we're going to be in Miami this weekend, and so Miami's an aphrodisiac in and of itself. So hopefully that will change.
We'll have vacation sex. It'll be all good.
Oh yeah. Vacation sex, hotel room sex is always.
It's always like that, man. When we're traveling, it's like nonstop.
Yes. Her and I, she took me on a trip to Hawaii when we first started seeing each other. And it's like a 5 or 6 day period. We had sex like 33 times. It was like we started.
I believe it. I'm taking my guy there for his 26th.
Ah, so. Very good. Very good. Where you got? What island are you going to?
Just Honolulu.
Oh, okay.
Just the basic. Waikiki.
Okay. Yeah, I lived in Hawaii twice actually, and
did you?
I did. I'm a military kid. I've surfed on the North Shore, Kaneohe Bay, Barbers Point. I went to Mokulele Elementary School on Hickam Air Force Base. Went to Aliamanu Intermediate School on Utah Street, and then Mauna Loa High School until we moved to Oklahoma. So yeah.
Oh my gosh, I lived in Oklahoma too.
No shit.
Crazy.
Where at?
Not a great place. Oklahoma City.
Oh yeah, I was in Altus. No, I've never heard of it either.
What is no like? Ooh, I don't know. I'm like you. I've lived. I would say military, but also like missionary. So I've lived all over the world.
Oh wow, yeah. We were at Altus. It's in the south. It's in the southwestern corner of Oklahoma, about 20 minutes from the Texas border, maybe an hour and a half east of Lawton.
I know Lawton.
Yeah.
I'm familiar with that.
Okay,
correct?
yeah. So there you go. So yeah, that's where we were. I was there for a year and some change. Thank God we got the fuck up out of there. Okay, enough of memory lane at Oklahoma. So today I have a video that we are going to break down. Now, last week, we broke down a video. That Kevin Samuels, we broke down part, I think it was part 2 of the Kevin Samuels interview. What are your initial thoughts about what we did last week? That was pretty crazy, was it not?
It was. I mean, it's just, to me, it just shows the delusionment. That's a word, correct? Delusionment?
Delusion. I'm not 100% sure, but I know what it means.
I wanted to make it a word. The delusion, it just shows how delusional women are in the dating world today.
Yes.
And also that, even though I sort of just made up a word, the which is cool. It's creativity.
There you go.
Just the unintelligence when it comes to thinking logically about relationships.
Yes. Oh my God.
And I think that's the thing that's like, women don't want to sacrifice. They don't want to understand that, God, I hate saying this, but that we are a dime a fucking dozen.
Yep.
And if you find a good man, you have that ability to find a good man that forms an emotional connection with you, that there is nothing that you shouldn't do unless it's like endangering your life to keep him.
I agree. I totally agree. And the thing is this is I tell guys all the time, especially back when I was the average guy, if you're an average guy, you're definitely a dime a dozen. But
Correct.
understand, if you want to be more than a dime a dozen, if you want to be more than the rank and file average guy, there are things that we can do to increase our value, just like women.
Yep.
And we talk all the time, Janelle, there are women who have high body counts. I don't know what Devin's body count is, but I know it's high. I mean, look at her body. I'm sure she got plenty of attention. Yeah, she's an attractive woman. It helps.
She's been on the planet for a few years, just like me. So
there you go.
You just assume.
Well, it helps maybe that she was married for almost 20 years. And so
Wow.
so she was married for almost 20 years. So listen, I don't know what happened during the marriage, but I do know that if a woman is married, it's a better than average chance that her notch count is not going to be as high. Maybe it's higher,
Correct.
maybe it's not. Either way, there are things that men and women can do to increase their value. So when you say, hey, man, listen, we women, we're a dime a fucking dozen. Okay, start from there. What can I do so I'm not a dime a dozen? What can I do to make myself a more investable commodity? What can I do to make whoever I'm after think, you know what? I can't replace this guy, or it's going to be very hard to replace this guy. And that's what this all comes down to.
That's correct. And the thing is, that's the question. People get mad because they repeat the same patterns in their life.
Yep.
But it's only because they keep asking the same question.
Yes.
If you don't like the results you're getting, you've got to ask a different question. So like, how can I add more value to myself so that I'm more valuable to my man,
There you go.
And what can I do to keep adding value to his life so that he sees I'm irreplaceable? And sometimes it's just a matter of you owning that too. Confidence is huge. It's like I told my guy in the past, we've had our, rocky roads. I'm fucking irreplaceable. And I'm going to show you that I am. And not just say it, actions, right?
No, I agree. It can't just be something that you just say, well, I'm irreplaceable. Listen, I know that as rare as I am, how can I put this? I'm not I'm not irreplaceable, because no one is irreplaceable, but it would be pretty difficult for a woman of Devin's ilk to find another Donovan. It would be very easy for me to find another Devin. I could find another Devin half her age. But because she offers me value, she remains attractive, and she clearly adds value to my life and money, I keep her around. Unless that stops being the case, then that's what it's going to be. So let's go ahead and get started here with the Kevin Samuels video, and here we go.
Modern women.
Hang on a second. Let me turn this up. There we go.
Want no part of being a wife, a mother. At best, you want some sort of partnership where you have houses and nannies and kids, and which is cool. But what's that?
Okay, so what are your thoughts on that first statement? Modern women have no interest in being wives or mothers. What they really want is partnerships where there are separate households sort of living apart together. What are your thoughts on what Kevin just said? Do you see this? Do you see this as being a problem?
I might surprise you with my answer here. I think
okay.
Two things: the mentality of being very independent and not needing a man. I don't agree with that mentality.
Okay.
Because we as women, we should need a man, a worthy man, a high value man, so that we can serve him and fit into his life, not the other way around.
Right.
However, from the tantric perspective, which I'm always going to give because that's what makes me me.
Of course.
From a polarity standpoint, I actually do agree with some of the essence of having separate spaces. Now, let me say this like with a huge caveat.
Okay.
We talked about it last night on The Bachelor.
Yes.
When you spend too much time with a partner doing nothing, and when you sleep together in the same bed overnight, year after year after year, something happens where it weakens the polarity.
Yes.
It's just like if you put two magnets together, what happens? They almost they repel, right?
Yes.
Like when they're,
right.
Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like if they're not exactly right, then they'll repel off.
I've actually done that before. I've taken two magnets and I've tried to put them together. It doesn't work that way.
It doesn't work. So what happens is we have to build masculine energy and build feminine, which is why it's important that women have girlfriends. Now, not girlfriends that are single and a hot mess if they're in a relationship. We should have, let me just say that. They need to have girlfriends that are of high value in some way, in society, in their business, in their thinking, in their whatever. Because if you hang out with 9 broke people, you'll be the 10th. You hang out with 9 wealthy. So with that being said, women should have girlfriends. Men should have their man cave time. Go to games. Go to the, do whatever it is women and men do separately and coming together.
There you go.
Yeah. So I do agree that there's some good with having separate spaces, whether it's you have, your own room in the house if you can afford it. I don't even think there's anything wrong with having your own houses that sometimes you retreat to and take that time and space away. But I don't think that this is the mentality he's talking about. I think it's the independent, I do my shit and you're supposed to see my value because I'm this boss bitch, and men don't really care about that stuff.
No. What it comes down to is that if we're going to sacrifice, if we're going to take care of you, if we're going to take care of the finances, if we're going to protect you, if somebody breaks in the house, I got to be willing to go down there and fight and die for you. Well, and it's funny that, listen, that's what it is, because if somebody breaks into the house, guess what? I'm going down there to handle that, because that's just my man instinct, right? Yeah. But by the same token, I'm not going to do that for a woman who lives in a separate house. Devin and I, we sleep in the same bed, but this is my separate room, and the living room is her separate room. We are together in the same building all the time, but we spend most of our time apart. We probably spend half of the day actually face to face when we're not working. So it is important to have your own space in the house, but not to a point to where it's you have a whole other residence. I mean, dude, God knows what could be happening over there. Get the hell out of here with that.
Correct.
That money coming from? We don't have any models like that to work, and we don't have the money for that. When I say feminism, what do you think feminism is?
Oh, here we go.
What do you think feminism is?
Escaping the classic gender roles, and like how she says, oh, I don't feel like I have to be married with kids. I can take care of myself. I don't need anybody. I feel like that's feminism, just standing up and breaking those traditional gender roles. And being who you want to be, despite what society says you have to be.
What do you think feminism means?
Pride in being a female and what you're capable of.
All these definitions are kind of silly.
Feminism means.
Yeah, it seems as though. Yeah, it seems as though their definitions are all over the place.
What do you think I mean? I think it means? Okay. I wouldn't say the equality of women and men, because I don't necessarily want to be equal to them, but like kind of based on her like breaking traditional gender.
So she says, she says she doesn't want to be equal to men, but they certainly see, she doesn't want the responsibility of being equal to men or the burden of performance, but she wants the benefits. What are your thoughts there?
Well, that's literally the definition, the advocacy of women's rights on the basis of equality of the sexes. So literally that is the definition of feminism. And I agree with you, Donovan, that yes, women, here's the problem with feminism. Okay. I'll just break it down in a nutshell.
Let's do it.
Women want to be treated equal, but then it is impossible to be treated equal because the rules that we play in life are never equal.
Right.
They just aren't. So women are fighting for equal rights, do this, do that. But then when it comes down to dinner, who picks up the check?
Uh-oh.
When it comes down to getting in the car, who's opening my door? When it comes down to, who's paying for that vacation? It's supposed to be like, the thing is, they want women's rights, they want equal rights until it actually hits them in the face in the real world, and then they're like, "Oh, I don't really want equal rights."
It's not that they don't want equal rights. They want the benefits that comes with equal rights without any of the costs. It's almost like women. Chat, let me know how my mic sounds. I know my mic was a little bit low, and I literally just figured out how to increase my mic's volume without really, and it was a touch screen and all that. So shout out to Rodecaster Pro. It's like women who they want the hot body without having to train hard in the gym and watch what you eat. You understand what I'm saying? So many women want all the benefits of a benefit without any of the costs. They want the hot body without having to work out and eat clean. They want to be the boss bitch without having to take accountability. Then you go, hell yeah, put in the hours. And then when the shit hits the fan, they want to point the finger and, oh, woe is me. Mina Kimes is I don't know if you follow sports or anything, but Mina Kimes, she's an NFL pundit on ESPN. And she shared and I might actually do a podcast on this. She shared an email from a guy named Charles Brown, who basically called her qualifications into question. The guy basically said to her, look, you're a woman, you've never played the game, blah, 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 blah. Now, here's the thing. When you are paid to give an opinion on a platform as large as ESPN, you're going to have to understand that you are going to be subjected to people calling into question your qualifications. Yep. That's part of the gig. But Mina Kimes wants the pay, she wants the notoriety of working at ESPN without any of the criticism. Sweetheart, that $400,000 a year salary comes at a cost. You wanted to be on ESPN, you got it. You don't get to have all the benefits without any of the costs.
The cost. Yeah. I thought that was interesting because I don't watch sports. The only time I do is when I'm with my guy. And I didn't know that we were somewhere, maybe Miami, and he was watching some, flipping back on the channels, whatever it is you guys do to catch up with all your stuff. And I saw on every platform, I'm like, there's women talking about sports. And I didn't realize that was a thing.
Yeah. Yeah. Women have always had a place in sports, but mainly, they're paid to look good and report the facts. Well, ESPN has gone woke, and now they are employing women to debate other people about sports. Listen, they can do that if they want to, and I have no problem with that. But by the same token, you got to be like, I have the right to question your qualifications. Like she's sitting there debating football with Jeff Saturday, who played for 15 years in the NFL. A woman like her,
it's embarrassing.
Exactly. Like you're debating. It's like you want to talk X's and O's with a guy who played in the NFL for 15 years. And Mina Kimes is a young woman. You know what I mean?
It's and me telling you how natural childbirth is, and you telling me, oh, it's not that hard. And I'm like,
exactly.
Fuck you, I did it.
Exactly. They all the benefits, none of the costs.
I get it. It's silly.
Fit then, but might not fit in today.
It's absolutely about equality.
Oh.
Feminism is about equality. It's about not being under how women earn less, whatever.
Women don't earn less.
Oh no, the wage gap has been debunked.
Women don't earn less.
Yeah, no.
The wage gap it's been debunked.
There it
thousands of times.
Yeah, since the feminist movement.
No. The wage gap doesn't.
Dude, these bitches are so fucking ignorant. She thinks the wage gap. She thinks the wage gap was debunked or was taken care of because of feminism. Listen, feminism started way back in the '60s. What the fuck is she talking about?
Yeah.
Well,
it's just they don't know because people get their facts from Twitter today.
There you go.
And
there it is. You can always tell.
Media.
You can always tell when someone's talking. This is what I really like about Pearl, is that you can tell that her talking points come from her. Yeah, listen, yes, you take ideas from different people, but when you add your own thoughts to it, that then creates an original thought. This woman just said, well, the wage gap, feminism is not adhering to the wage gap. Kevin says it's been debunked thousands of times. Yeah, since the feminist movement, bitch, the feminist movement has been around for over 7 decades. Jesus fucking Christ. Yeah. This is who we're dealing with. And you guys wonder why the top red pill guys aren't spinning 20 and 21-year-old plates.
Women don't earn less. Men and women doing similar jobs, women actually have been shown to earn more. Men and women choose different jobs.
That's
so
true.
The wage gap
there you go.
Is
because there's very few women CEOs. I think it's less than I don't quote me, but I know it's under 3% of women CEOs in the world.
There you go. Exactly.
Inflated.
By the way, subscribe to Janelle. Subscribe to Janelle's YouTube channel, Janelle Gordon. Also, Also, follow her on Instagram. What is it? Is it real Janelle Gordon or I am Janelle?
Unfortunately, yeah. After 3 accounts.
That's right. That's
Had to
right.
get clever with it. Remember, we
You
had
have
that
been
conversation.
yes. You have been deplat. See, this is where we connect. Is we both have been deplatformed multiple times. So that's where we okay.
Men. But equality. Are men and women equal?
Jay Blaze actually makes a pretty solid comment. He says, you could say that about Skip Bayless too. I could, except here's the difference. Skip Bayless has been covering sports his entire life. He's in his, I think, mid-60s. He's like 64, 65 years old. Mina Kimes has not been around that long. So while we can sit here and say that men and, well, there are guys who break down sports that don't have, that didn't play sports, yes, but they've been doing it longer, and that's why they do it. So I like the argument, though.
That's a sound argument.
Yeah, Skip Bayless is a made guy. Stephen A. Smith, those guys never played sports, but they can still debate the X's and O's. At least better than Mina Kimes.
I think it's comparing apples to
Okay. So if men and women are
We have a lot of the same opportunities. We have a lot of the same opportunities, yes.
equality.
Yes.
Okay.
There we go.
So we're not equal or we are equal?
Equal in like just the general circle.
Did you want me to pause it?
No,
Oh, okay.
I was watching some of the comments.
Oh,
Sorry.
okay, gotcha. No, it's okay.
Or like in equal, like just
And
in
you're
general.
saying equal in opportunity?
Like what aspect?
Do you want to be equal?
No.
No. I don't think I want to.
You do?
Wow.
Absolutely.
Okay. So
Here we go.
I don't think women.
so you want so you would be so you are for a world where women are 51% of the suicides, 51% of the homeless, 51% of the frontline troops.
Here we go.
51% of the
See, it's literally just what we said, Janelle. They want all the benefits of being equal, all the opportunity and all the pay, but there's another side to that. What are your thoughts?
Literally, that argument was in my head. I was thinking about war, about all this.
Yes,
Yeah.
absolutely. Listen, it's great being a man, but there are costs. It's great being
there's
a
costs.
right. Getting into the like, dude, you're an attractive woman. You're used to guys looking at you. You're used to people being good to you. This is men and women. But there is a cost to that. Now, I don't know what those costs are because I'm not a good-looking woman, but you understand that it's not all sunshine and rainbows for good-looking women. Am I wrong?
Correct. That's absolutely correct. Women are bad at a few things when it comes to this type of stuff. Risk versus reward.
Yes.
Cost analysis benefit. Like they don't because we're typically more, we're not as analytical. We're not as logical. We're more emotional. But when it comes to relationships, and this is something I'm actually been really training myself on, is you have to have more intelligence IQ versus your emotional IQ has to be more balanced.
Okay.
And women don't really understand that. They just think, oh yeah, I want equal rights, treat me the same. But you don't really want to be treated the same.
Right.
Because when you see what the cost analysis, the risk versus reward is of being a man, it's not as rosy as it always,
It's not all it's cracked up to be.
Correct.
Nies Dutz, interesting, with the $5 super chat, says, yep, I have respect for the OG women in sports that actually know sports. Yes, Linda Cohn and Hannah Storm. That's it. Women want equity, not equality. Dude, Linda Cohn, she knows, she probably knows more about hockey than I do. Linda Cohn is legit. Hannah Storm is definitely legit. Pam Oliver. Robin Roberts, back when she was on ESPN. I think she works for ABC now, but yes, Rebecca Lobo. I mean, there are legitimate women in the sports sphere who can debate the X's and O's of all sports. But Mina Kimes is complaining that her qualifications are being called into question. She's a young, attractive woman debating something with a man who was on the field for 15 years. People are going to have a problem with that. The ESPN's not going to fire her for that. So she needs to take the good with the bad. Oh, by the way, guys, off the topic, I won our fantasy league. I am the champion. I am the champion. The Silver City Piranhas. I won. There it is. The Silver City Piranhas. Rolla Tomasi came in second place. I know you guys don't give a shit, but I just thought of it, and so we are going to continue with the breakdown. Here we go.
coal miners, 51%. All the dangerous jobs.
Here we go.
No, we're talking about equality. Where
Yes,
women
see
are
that?
51% of the
See that?
population. So if we're
Yep,
talking about
absolutely.
equality, you're okay with women being 51% of it all, meaning these buildings need to be built by 51% female crews.
There you go.
Airplanes need to be constructed by 51% female crews.
There you go.
I want us to have that opportunity.
You do have that opportunity. Women do have that opportunity.
They do.
But you choose not to.
There
but
it
women
is.
choose not to.
Correct.
But
That's just it. Women have the opportunity to go work on the railroad all the livelong days, to drive forklifts, to
Or to be engineers, or
Yes.
and I think more and more women are becoming, going into the STEM careers, like engineers, architect, etc., this type of thing. But it is not normalcy. It's not the norm. It's not status quo.
No. And listen, Allie, who's going to be on our panel show, she is an exception to many, many rules. No, that does
What
not.
does she do? What does Allie do? I'm just curious.
She used to be in the military, but in conversations with her, she really enjoys philosophy. She really is a thinker,
She's a deep thinker. I got that.
Yes,
from her last
right,
night.
exactly. And it's not this isn't to say that women are any more or less intelligent than men, but women typically do not think like Allie does. It is what it is. There are some men out there who are more emotional than logical. I mean, we're not all exactly the same, but by and large, rank and file men use logic more than the rank and file woman, and vice versa. There's nothing wrong with
I
either
actually
of that.
took 5 philosophy. What did I take? 4 philosophy classes in college, and I ended up getting like $10,000 scholarship because I took so many philosophy classes. I just actually found it easier to do that than to do English, because I didn't want to read and write book reports. So I just said philosophy was actually quite interesting.
Yeah, it's it sort of it makes you think outside the box, if I'm not mistaken. Okay, very good. Not a philosophical guy, I can just tell you that right now. So you're more philosophical than I am. I'll just admit that right now.
okay, but the thing is,
Yep, Susie Kolber, same thing.
Is you want equality.
Here we go, just like you said, Janelle.
But then you don't want equality.
Take the responsibility.
Because with equality comes freedom, and with freedom comes cost.
Uh-huh.
So you're free, but then it comes cost.
That's right.
So
freedom isn't free. It's not.
Feminism ultimately was about not equality. Feminism ultimately was about choice. I'm a feminist.
Oh, I love when Kevin does this. Kevin has said, listen, I'm a feminist. I am 100%. I believe that men and women should have the same opportunities. Now, of course, it's tongue-in-cheek because he's basically giving them what they want. What are your thoughts on today's feminism? Because, listen, I'm in favor of first-wave feminism. It's just like Kevin said. First-wave feminism sought to give women a choice. They understood, okay, listen, most women want to be stay-at-home moms. They're completely satisfied with that. But not all women are created equal. There are some women out there who want to and are capable of not doing jobs inside the home. So it gave them a choice. Now, these women were a lot less likely to find husbands who wanted women to stay at home, but that's not what feminism said. These days, it's just like Niesdut says, women don't want equality. They want leverage. What say you, Janelle?
I think that I am not a fan of, women hate me, I'm sure. I'm not a fan of the feminism movement today.
Oh, of course not. No.
I feel that it's detrimental to our society. Our society is the structure of our society, whether you believe in marriage or not, is built on the family dynamic.
I agree. Totally agree.
The traditional and taking religion out, taking all this excess stuff out, there has to be that family unit, which
100%.
means, I get in trouble for saying this, not like a man and a woman.
That's right.
Or 2 partners with children and then grandchildren and offspring and so on and so forth. So they go off and create
the nuclear family.
The nuclear family. Thank you. I got to go back to my sociology terminology. It's been a few years, but the nuclear family is what creates the stability in our socioeconomic growth, as far as like putting money out into the world and keeping the community and this entity that we have in each town, each city, each country in the world, keeping those values and those traditions passed on.
Yes.
Now, when we have movements like the feminism movement, they come in and they just like to fuck shit up.
Yep.
And the problem is that we have these women not shaving, not wearing deodorant, walking around saying,
my
I
God.
can free bleed all over and then post pictures on Instagram with blooding in it. And listen, if you knew my practice, I'm actually a little more tolerant to things like that from a spiritual standpoint, but I think it's ludicrous to have this kind of feminism content out there teaching women to actually become men, and then we complain that there's no alpha men in the world, and this is why, because we're castrating men.
I agree. And listen, the only reason why I'm against marriage right now, listen, 50, 60 years ago, I would be pro-marriage because I am pro-nuclear family. Not everybody is designed to be a part of a nuclear family.
Right.
I am one of those people.
Yes.
I just don't want to have, right, exactly. I just don't want to have kids. I have my reasons. But the nuclear family is the foundation of a sovereign nation. That's what we sought to be. And Kevin says this all the time, Janelle. Our economy is not set up for single women. You cannot be, the math doesn't add up. If you are a single.
That's what I was trying to make up
right.
about our economy.
This is why men and women need each other. If divorce wasn't so incentivized, if family courts weren't so one-sided, child support, alimony, if those things, if men were treated more fairly in divorce court and in family court, I'd be all in favor of marriage because you're risking just as much as the woman. But women come into relationships with nothing to lose and everything to gain. The man goes into marriages with the average modern woman. He has nothing to gain and everything to lose. And we wonder why more men are walking away from marriage and even sometimes cohabitating relationships.
Yep. And I think that this is largely due to the feminist movement putting in the minds of young, impressionable young women that you don't need a man, that all you have to do is be successful, and that you can have, like, we're not talking about experimenting or threesomes or lesbian love. We're saying or like just having college flings. We're turning women gay. And again, I have plenty of gay friends, so I'm not talking bad about this population.
No, I got it.
But what I'm saying is it is taking away from, like you're saying, the nuclear family dynamic that is useful for our economy, for our traditions, for our future generations to understand the dynamics of masculine and feminine polarity and energy. And that is what rules the entire world. And when you
100%.
have feminism coming in, it just upsets everything for women saying, I can do whatever I want. And
that's right.
Like, you don't need a man. I don't have to shave. I don't have to wear makeup. I don't have to put deodorant on. I can bleed all over Instagram. And it's ridiculous.
They can do all those things. They're just not going to get picked. Stephen White says, I see modern feminism as just another hate group. You are incorrect. Modern feminism is another hate group. So, Stephen White, say it with your chest, Stephen. Feminism is just another hate group. Let's continue.
It's about a woman having the choice.
There you go.
Choosing to work, choosing to be a stay-at-home mother.
Dude, I literally, and guys, I haven't watched these yet, but this is
choice.
Literally said it.
Equality means that if you want to get out here and become the top manga producer, then you got to beat everybody.
That's right.
You get no benefit. You have and
so one of the women on this panel, and I know we're going to be up against the clock. We'll go for another 10, maybe 15 minutes because Janelle.
We'll go till 1:00. That's fine.
Okay, I just don't want you to be late for your facial. And no, guys, I actually mean like a real facial, not a pornography facial. In case you guys had any ideas, Devin's actually due for a facial herself. The pornography.
Does she do the laser? And does she do the laser and all that? And the red lights and the microphones?
I think she does.
So.
But then some facials I'm involved, right? And I don't use lasers. I just use the Canon. But yeah. So I just want to make sure that we get you out of here on time.
Thank you so much. You're so kind.
Hey, listen, man. Hey, this is why we called this show That's What She Said.
And like it or not, you're going to become an athlete now.
I'm sorry, I got off topic. One of these women on this panel, Janelle, she wants to be an anime producer, and I do not fault her for that. However, when Kevin asked her, well, where do you see yourself at the top of your profession, top of your earning power, what do you hope to make annually? Now, I looked it up. The average anime producer makes right around $60,000 a
See,
year.
I was gonna say 60,000. I just guessed.
There you go, 60,000. The top ones make 100,000. He asked her, "How much do you want to be making?" She says she wants her net worth to be $80 million. So Devin and I, we did the math. We did the math on the air.
We did not.
She did. We did the math on the air. If she were to make $100,000 a year and never spend a dime of it, it would take her 800 years to get to $80 million.
I was gonna say people that make like your goal today is like in my business, it's like I want to clear $1 million this year. It's still a pretty big goal.
Yes.
Is it attainable? Absolutely.
Absolutely.
If I take the right steps, have the right merch, I'm doing everything, my retreats, I'm charging, $100,000 a year for you to train in my method. Yeah, I could make a
There you
million.
go.
But that's a realistic. Now, 800 million? That's like, what is Steve Bezos worth? I mean, I know he's in the billions.
Oh, Jeff Bezos is he's almost worth $1 trillion.
He's worth $1 trillion. He's a bad example. Some of the most successful actors and athletes
aren't even worth that much.
Yeah, yeah.
But the point is, and you actually pointed out the point. Listen, is it possible for her to have an $80 million net worth? Absolutely. But women, today's modern women, they deal in possibility rather than probability. It is possible to have a net worth of $80 million animating Japanese cartoons called anime. Is it probable? No. And that's where they really need to settle down.
And they live in this fantasy realm of and I think it's actually more probable for you to make $80 million if you're an entrepreneur. You're not going to make it in a traditional type of job. There's just no job that you're making I'm sorry, unless I don't know, maybe AI. I don't know what the field of AI, like how much money you make in that, but you're not making $80 million in anything unless you're some kind of athlete, celebrity.
There you go.
Or I don't know. You were born into that wealth, and that doesn't count because you're just part of the lucky sperm club.
Yeah. She's got a long way to go. Chase Hunnits, welcome to Chat Privileges. Appreciate that very, very much. At Chase Hunnits to welcome him to the TSR family. If you would, Chase, go ahead and put your age and location in the chat. And while we're at it, let's go ahead and do an age and location check in the chat. Just your age, city, state, country, where you're from, and we will continue. 442 people watching. Let's get the likes up, guys. Let's try to get me to 222 likes.
Out there, and you're going to have to compete with the men in the the women, people in Japan.
That's
you
right.
get no shorts. You have to be able to win based upon your competency level.
There you go.
Okay, but then we start going back to math and competency and what women choose to do. So you are free. You want equality or no? Because most women want to have a choice.
Yes.
But do you want to be in the position? Well, you said you want to just be ultimately have nobody. So that's
I want to be in a relationship. I don't want to feel like I need to be in one. I absolutely want to.
Unbelievable. Okay. I remember I worked at this one call center in Vegas, and I was just in a conversation with this chick, and I remember her saying, men and women, like, I don't want to need a man. I don't want to be weak. I said, Carly, needing a man doesn't make you weak. It makes you a woman. There's nothing wrong with admitting that you want and need men. Why are women so hesitant to say, yes, I need a man?
Because movements like the feminist movement have programmed it into women's mind that they need no one but themselves and their vagina. And pop culture, it's true. And pop culture has done that with artists like Beyonce and Cardi B and all these women who are selling lies. They don't care. I mean, I don't think they're deliberately trying to harm women.
Right.
They're just making records and making billions, millions and billions. But that everything you see in pop culture and music and television, it's alluding to the fact that women can be these independent, powerful women that don't need a man. And in the end, it's just the antithesis of that. Like, women do need men. That is called this a surrender element where women
Yes.
we want to surrender to a man.
That's right.
It's innately in us. We've just been programmed to think that there's something wrong with that. And so, or that's a sign of weakness.
Right.
And that the
Right.
way to get a man is to be just like uber strong and this like I can do it all. And that's the exact opposite way to actually do it.
JBlaze11 says feminine energy is powerful. It is powerful to submit. Listen, the power of femininity. Oh my God. I mean, dude, femininity opens, listen, masculinity opens many doors. Femininity opens way more doors.
Way more doors.
And if
Look
go ahead.
Look at what happened even in the White House when you think of our president, Bill Clinton, our former president, Bill Clinton.
Yeah.
The power of, and I didn't even think that she was that feminine, but she was feminine enough that she lured this man.
She was giving him head in the Oval Office.
That's the power. That you're the most powerful man on the planet, some would argue.
And you succumbed to femininity.
To the power of a subpar feminine woman.
Yeah, she wasn't.
Because women in politics, let's just be honest, they're not that feminine.
Nope.
I'm not being mean.
They're not. They're not. And
but the power, she literally took down a nation.
Yeah, well,
come on, guys. Samson, Delilah, if you know the Bible.
Oh, dude, listen, Samson and Delilah, Helen of Troy.
Yeah.
Listen, man, the power
I heard that Hitler's wife was behind it all. It wasn't even him.
Oh, yeah, Ava Braun. Yeah, dude, they used to get it as some freaky shit. Apparently, Ava Braun and Hitler were into scat. Like, that was just like.
Remind me, I know what this is. You probably can't say it. Y'all probably have to send me later.
Yeah, I probably will. But the point, the point is that David and Bathsheba, it's just never like the power of true femininity.
Men are actually weak. No offense, y'all. I love you, but you're weaker when it comes to that to a woman's power.
That's exactly right, man. And this is why I teach men, hey, we want femininity, but do not let that feminine energy overpower you. Make sure. And here's the thing, it takes time and it takes failure to be able to see through that. And it took me many, many years to be impervious to femininity and good-looking girls. Well, it is because listen, I was recently. I'll use there was a female content creator that I had recently worked with. Mm-hmm. She was highly attractive, very, very feminine. But I recognized that there were some things about her that do not fit with my brand. And most men would not have the guts to give her a call and be like, hey, listen, this is not going to work. Because if you look at this woman, she's not used to being told no. And that was a very difficult conversation for her. But at the end of the day, I had to do what I had to do. I would not have been able to do that 10 years ago. I probably would have just kept dragging her along just because she was attractive and she was nice to look at. Again, to get to that point to where I can.
You and most men.
I mean that. Listen, but most men. Most men do not have the requisite strength to be able to do that. It takes many, 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 many years. Knees Duts. Oh, I'm sorry.
Go ahead, read that, and then I want to add something.
Sure. Yeah. No. Go ahead. Continue with your thought. I can read these.
I just think that this is such a great point. If you're ever in a relationship or you're ever not getting something from a woman, even if you're crazy in love with her, and she is super hot, you got to be willing to have that conversation.
That's right.
Say like, I'm gonna walk, or
yep.
I'm gonna take her. Or we need a break, because what happens if that woman is a woman of value, she will either if she's a woman of value, she'll get her act together and she will do anything it takes to not lose you.
There you go.
And you guys then will be on the straight and narrow from there on. But if she is just a fish you throw back, then she'll walk and you cut your ties and no harm there. But the problem is most men don't have the balls to do that. Especially if she's attractive. They're like, man, maybe this is the best I'll ever get.
That is true in real relationships, like sexual relationships, and in business relationships, Janelle. Correct. There are so many there's a reason why almost all pharmaceutical sales reps who are women are highly, highly, highly attractive. And the reason why they're highly attractive is because they know that doctors doctors, powerful men, a lot of times they don't know how to be impervious to the wiles of a woman. They don't really look at the benefits of the drug. They don't look at the benefits of the trial. They're just looking at the blonde-haired, blue-eyed, big-tittied female, and they're like, oh yeah, everything is going to be, oh yeah. And guess what? She trades on that. But not only in relationships, in business relationships too. And oh, by the way, Janelle, after I had a conversation with that content creator, she didn't take it too well, but guess what? She hasn't called or texted since to try to add value. So what that told me was that, okay, at this point, she's skating by on her. Yeah, she's skating by on her looks. And listen, that's gonna work with a lot of people. It doesn't work with me because, dude, I've dealt with women who look better than her on a regular basis, like on a regular basis. And it takes a lot of experience and a lot of know-how to be able to do that. That's just how it goes. D's Nuts, $10 super chat, says, sorry for the interrupt, D Damage, no problem. But just saw this. People need to stop using the term, quote, Karen. It is a sexist racism term equal to the N-word for women. Thoughts? Listen, man, and I guess this is what white women think, that they need to stop calling white women Karens. White women in the West live the best lives of any class of human on the planet.
They really do.
Listen, if I don't want people to call me a nigger, then guess what? I need to don't act like a nigga. But here's the thing.
I was gonna say I don't even feel like I can comment on that.
Here's the thing. There are gonna be some people who call me a nigger no matter what. There's nothing I can do about that. Only a white woman would equate the word Karen and try to conflate that with the N-word. White girls, listen up. You guys have it good. If
the best in the world, really, and the best in America.
No. White women in the West live the best lives of any class of human in the planet's history. They literally have it the best. I'm not here to complain about it, but if the term Karen is something that you're bitching and moaning about, I'd say you have it pretty fucking good. If Karen is your biggest problem, you need to consider what your problem is. That's fucking
Karen
hilarious.
is now a trigger. Karen is now like some kind of trauma. And it's just, I was talking about this with my client earlier today who's from Germany. And I made something, I said, oh, I'm sorry, is that offensive? He goes, no, we don't get offended like you guys do here in the US, you know?
Christ,
and the
man.
thing is, you said it, you know, Donovan, white women, I don't even consider myself fully white, even though my guy says I am. But like that class, they do have it the best in every area of life. So to complain about Karen, it's ludicrous. Come on, pick something else.
Totally agree.
Try something else.
Yeah, seriously. Like, come on. Like, there are other Geeky Anomaly, $5 says the Enchantress of Florence by Salman Rushdie, a perfect example of how femininity is a superpower that can bend empires. Bryce Friday said, remember we were, Bathsheba, Delilah, what's her name? Mary Magdalene, Ava Braun. He says, except for Marie Antoinette, she screwed herself. Yeah, Marie Antoinette definitely screwed the pooch on that one.
Yeah.
Hashtag let them eat cake. Mr. J, $5 super chat says, masculinity opens many doors. The power of femininity opens way more doors. So completely true. Sad that women now think that being feminine is shameful. Like, dude, women who refuse to embrace femininity, it's like being born Superman, but not using your superpowers. Femininity is a fucking superpower. It's a superpower, and women, for whatever reason, they don't want to channel it. It's the craziest thing.
And it's crazy because I'll see women that are so attractive, and I'm like, but they're so masculine.
Oh, God, it's ridiculous.
And you're like, oh my God, and I'm just like, and it's sad because that's the status quo today.
Femininity is absolutely, positively a superpower. Mr. J, $2 super chat says, also, can't agree more, Donovan. Failure equals experience. Okay, let's continue with this video. Hang on a second. With this video breakdown, we can listen and watch here.
That's one thing I don't understand today with so many. What's wrong with needing somebody?
Yep. See, there we go.
Like when you meet somebody, then like in my experience, meeting someone, what happens when that person is no longer there? Now you're in a state of
here we go. Here we go.
Want to be, what is it? I don't know, left hanging in that sense.
See, there we go.
That's
Left hanging.
ability, and you have to have that to be in a successful relationship.
I agree. I agree. Not only that, Janelle, let me ask you something. You've been in many relationships. How many times have you been dumped?
Honestly, let me think.
Well, I guess the better question is you've ended most relationships you've been in. Am I
I've
wrong?
ended most. I feel like I've only ever been dumped maybe once or twice.
There you go.
In my whole life.
There you go.
Yeah.
And listen, 85% of divorces are filed by women. Better than 9 times out of 10, women in every relationship, women end all relationships. I would say 95% of relationships are ended by women, whether it's a marriage, dude, fuck buddy arrangement, friends with benefits, whatever the case may be, women end relationships. So for this woman to say, well, I don't want to have to need a man because in case he leaves, I don't want to be left hanging. No. None of these women, I can promise you, have probably ever, honestly, between the 4 of them, they've probably been dumped a total of maybe twice, if that at all.
Yeah.
But you want us to think that you're afraid that a man is going to leave you? Bullshit. Get the fuck out of here, man. Yeah. Why are women like this, Janelle? Why do women want to make the world think I don't want to get left high and dry when women are ending almost all relationships?
Yeah. And I thought back and I've only been dumped once. So in my 40 years on the planet. I think it's a few reasons. One, it's the victim mentality that's been embedded into women. Poor me. We've been treated so bad by men. Men are monsters. Girl power, stick together. If I open my heart, he's going to leave me.
Yes.
So that victim mentality. And the second is that women are falsely secure because they depend on someone else for their own security, which means they're insecure. Because anytime you depend on someone else for your security, you are insecure.
Well, here's the thing. Women are supposed to depend on men for their security. That doesn't make them insecure. That makes them women. Listen, women have opportunities, right?
Yes.
Let's just say that a man does happen to up and leave a woman. There are plenty of resources available, but needing a man and wanting him for your security, I don't think that makes them insecure at all. I think women like being able to depend on the right man. They don't just want to give themselves to any man. Right, exactly.
Yes. And I mean not more like security and like, is this man going to show up? But like
gotcha.
Okay, my value.
Gotcha.
Like they look to a man to like, this is how I'm getting it. And if they're not getting it there, then they're getting it on social media through likes and stuff like that. That's the insecurity I mean. And a lot of times women have that even behind the layers of makeup and shit. These women are deeply insecure and they don't truly like themselves.
The hotter the girl, the more insecure she is, Janelle. And you can speak to that. Really, really attractive women, they are the most insecure people I've ever been around. Because they don't compare themselves to the average rank and file woman. They compare themselves to 9s and 10s.
9s and 10s. And that's the problem when you've been around. And I went through this time in my life, like when you worked in the industry and you worked around some of the hottest women that you've ever seen, then you compare yourself to them. I mean, it's just human nature. But the bottom line is that becomes a woman's character, is like how my looks defines like me, the essence of me. And your looks should never define the essence of me. They should enhance your essence.
There you go.
Define it.
Yeah. A woman's looks, that's what gets her. Obviously, that's what gets her in the door. But it's all of the other ancillary things. She is Janelle Gordon, guys. Be sure to follow her on Instagram. I am Janelle Gordon. It is now her 3rd Instagram account. So if you want to hate on her, report her so that she can go with I am Janelle Gordon too. Be sure to subscribe to her YouTube channel, Janelle Gordon. Janelle, thanks for being a part of this. I'm going to actually continue this breakdown on my own, but go ahead and get to your spa facial. Yes, your spa facial. Guys.
Thank you so much for having me.
Get your minds out of the gutter. Absolutely. Janelle Gordon, ladies and gentlemen. I appreciate you being on. Be sure to like I said, guys, be sure to follow Janelle. She's as good as they come, man. She really, really is. Okay, let's get back to the breakdown here. Let me go to my share screen. There we go. Give me 1 second here, guys. There. Perfect. Okay. So let us continue.
I'd rather secure knowing that that person that I'm with, that I'm comfortable with, that we get together, whatever, say it doesn't work out it just doesn't work out, or they pass, something happens and they die.
They pass or something happens and they die. Yeah, the reason I want my own shit is because I'm afraid that my boyfriend or husband is going to die. Again, guys, these are excuses that women are using to legitimize having a life separate. See, what these women want, guys, they want a life separate from a man, but they want him to be there when she needs him, right? She wants to be able to be single, except for when she doesn't want to be single. And that's the way women approach relationships. They want to be able to go to bars and clubs. They want to be able to travel alone. They want to be able to keep in contact with their exes. They want to post booty pics on Instagram. They want to go out for girls' nights out. They want to go to Cancun and Vegas and Ibiza. But then they want the nigga to be back at home waiting on them. No, it doesn't work that way. If you want to be in a relationship, you're going to have to be in a relationship full time. Everything these women are talking about here, everything women talk about these days in terms of what they consider to be a successful relationship, that's not a successful relationship. That is a part-time relationship.
I would like to be able
And Geeky Anomaly said it. It doesn't work out. If it doesn't work out, more than likely it's because of the woman. Women leave relationships better than 9 times out of 10. And these women know this. Like I said to Janelle when she was on here, I can promise you, between these 4 girls, I can promise you, they probably all been dumped a total of maybe twice, if that at all.
to hold everything up still and not feel like.
Well, in relationships today with like divorce rates, breakups, women are filing 80 to 90% of the divorce.
There it is. See that?
So what I'm hearing is you don't want to be disappointed. It's like, I don't want to need somebody because if I need them, it makes me vulnerable. And if they're no longer there
you go.
At a deficit. All right, but human beings are social creatures. We need one another.
That's right.
In the worst prisons in the world, where the worst people do the worst things, right? What is the worst punishment you can give somebody other than death?
Solitary confinement, baby.
Thank you. Anybody other than you is a
Oh,
risk.
wow. She said
You're
it
a
exactly the
risk
same time as I did.
I mean, somebody would have to take a risk on you to be with you. You could choose to leave just as well. Does a relationship make you feel like you have to shrink or be less than you are?
Sometimes.
Sometimes I feel like I
Merch.
am less focused on, I'm less big when I'm in a relationship, focusing on a man, focusing on being a.
See, this is exactly what Brittany Renner told Kevin when he did the sit-down interview with him. When he did the sit-down interview with Brittany Renner, she says, I shouldn't have to shrink to be in a relationship. You really, listen, you can think whatever you want. If you don't want to have to shrink to be in a relationship, cool. Just understand that your options are going to be severely limited. Because if you want to be with a high value man, you're just gonna have to understand that you are going to have to shrink. High value men don't want women who are all out everywhere. And don't give me celebrities and this celebrity. No. Behind closed doors, men want femininity. Mal MC with the $5 super chat says, hey Donovan, is it possible to find a chick that's an 8 or a 9 that is traditional in today's modern world? Yeah, of course it's possible. It's just not likely. And I'll tell you what, and thanks for the question, Mal MC. I tell guys this all the time, and I've mentioned this in past videos. What us men need to understand, and this is only true because of what's happening in today's world. If you're looking for a solid relationship, in other words, if you're looking for the kind of woman who's more likely to be a good wife or girlfriend, she cannot be an 8, a 9, or a 10. She can't be. You need to stay in the 6 to 7 range. Okay? And I compare 8s, 9s, and 10s, and I talked about this before. 8s, 9s, and 10s are like the Dodge Viper, right? 6s and 7s are like the Dodge Stratus. The Dodge Viper, it's a fast car. It's a chick magnet. It will definitely increase your sexual market value. It's fun to drive. It's faster. It's a sexier car. But the upkeep is very expensive. If you have to take your Dodge Viper to the shop, it's at least 4 figures. That's all there is to it. You're going to have a much higher car payment. And dude, if you get in an accident in a Dodge Viper, you're a goner. Now, are there people who have had Dodge Vipers for a while? Yeah. But let them tell you about the upkeep, right? Let them tell you about the fact that it gets 13 miles to the gallon on the highway. Now, the Dodge Stratus, not as sexy a car, but people aren't going to accuse you of being a bum or not having a job. Dodge Stratus is a good-looking car, great gas mileage, low car payment. Insurance is not going to be nearly as high, right? The upkeep is much less expensive. In this day and age, 8s, 9s, and 10s belong to the game, guys. 8s, 9s, and 10s belong to the game. You have to understand that. You need to look for a 6 or a 7. Are there 8s, 9s, and 10s out there who will make good wives? Yeah, but they're more than likely already spoken for. I remember Andrew Tate was on the Fresh and Fit podcast. He and his boys went out to this remote village in Romania. I think it was like a population of 300 people. And he sees like this group of girls. He said, most beautiful girls, some of the most beautiful girls I've ever seen in my life, right? And he's thinking, holy shit, like these girls are in this village. Like, why are they not living in a bigger city? Come to find out, all 3 of those girls had 250,000 Instagram followers each. There's no such thing as hot, because of the internet and the smartphone, there's no such thing as the hot girl who doesn't know she's hot. There's no such thing as a hot girl who doesn't know she's hot, right? So what you really need to focus on the 6s, or focus on the 6 or the 7, because what you have to understand, guys, is that the 8s, 9s, and 10s in this day and age, they're useless because they've never had to be useful. 6s and 7s tend to make better girlfriends and wives because they know their sexual market deficiencies require them to step up in other areas. A very good question, Mal MC. But you really need to you're not going to, listen, is it possible to find an 8 or a 9 in the modern world that would make a good wife? Sure. It would just be very, very, very difficult. And you've got to be the highest value male ever. Sith Lord Entertainment with the $10 super chat says, it pains me to say what I'm about to say, but it is rare to find a woman who is genuinely feminine. That's exactly right. It really, really is. Lord Honesty's Wrath says, O'Shea, ugly ass, can't keep Donovan name out his mouth. You're not breaking any news here. Not breaking any news here. Let's continue.
A good girlfriend focusing on the good relationship. It's a responsibility. It's another responsibility. I was watching the show and they were like, oh, I want everybody to be single here at my brokerage because you guys work harder. And it was a brokerage for women.
It was a what?
A real estate brokerage company.
There we go. Real estate. Why am I not surprised?
It's better if you're all single because you work harder, you work better, more efficiently.
This was a show?
Yeah.
Yeah, it made them more money.
Yeah.
I
thought that was a unique statement. Like, wow, sometimes I feel like that. Like, I earn better when I'm single. So it does kind of.
So basically, she's choosing the bag over a relationship. I mean, guys, listen, we say this all the time. You can't make this stuff up, man. This woman used a reality show, and she's right. When women are single, they earn more money. Would you like to know why? It's because they're single. When women are single, there's only one. She can only rely on herself for her income. Of course she's going to work harder. Of course she's going to work better and earn more because she has to. That's nothing. It's ridiculous.
Shrink me when I have the responsibility of having a man catering to her. It's a task. It's another task.
Okay.
Having a man to cater to is another task. This is why these women are going to end up single, guys.
I agree 100%.
This is a worthwhile task.
Absolutely.
I feel like
If I'm
that's
happy, yeah.
If you're happy, happiness is a choice.
Uh-oh.
Nobody can make you happy.
Yeah.
We're responsible for our own happiness.
Yeah, absolutely. I feel like.
But is that really the way? If I'm happy, what you just said is if I'm happy, meaning
Happy with, like, the relationship sometimes enhances me. Like, it's just like, I'm happy, single, working hard. I'm happy in a relationship. When I'm in a relationship and it's just going well and everything's good, it feels good to be in a happy, healthy relationship too.
Well, there we go. So what's the problem?
But you know,
And the only reason why she's happy single now is because she's in her 20s. It's a different story when you're in your 30s. There's a big difference between being single at 23 than being single at 43. If you're a woman and you're single at the age of 43 years old, you are fucking miserable. You see, these women never think more than 5 minutes ahead. They never do. She's sitting here thinking, well, I'm happy single now, so I'm going to be happy single forever. No, the reason why you're happy single now is because you still have endless opportunities. At least for dick. But trust me when I tell you, the older you get, the less options you have. And the less options you have, the less happy you are. Listen, you're happy single now. Come back and talk to me in 10, 15 years.
So yes,
Life happens.
It's worth the compromise of, I work a little less efficient if I'm in a relationship, I guess.
Wow. Black Wolf Inc. with the $5 super chat said, salute fam, wrapping up my vacation from Miami, and the plane is going to take off. I'm going to sleep during the 4-day flight. I hopefully meant 4-hour flight. Keep me in your prayers. Yep. Shout out to Black Wolf Inc. Have a safe flight back to wherever you live.
I do feel like sometimes I feel small, but I also feel like it's circumstantial. I can only go by experience. So like I feel like with the men that I have.
Circumstantial. Oh my God. So she thinks circumstantial means a story you tell. No, it's anecdotes. Like I can only give you anecdotes. And these women, at least one of these women thinks that she can have an $80 million net worth being an anime producer.
Let's just say dated. I did feel like they wanted me to not do certain things, not act a certain way, not work as much, or woo.
You do want you to work less.
So it made me think, I met it like a lot of the time, they don't want me to work as much, well,
of course not. And the reason they don't want you to work as much is because high-value men want to take care of you. The reason why high-value men don't want their women to work is because they want their women not to be distracted from the task at hand, which is taking care of him. If you take care of your woman, she will take care of you. But if she's working, if she's got a career or other projects, passion, whatever it is she's doing, that's less time she can be focusing on you. And I've said this so many times, guys. The reason why all these women want careers and other shit is because they want an excuse to focus on something other than their man in their relationship. Women never want to say, you know what? The reason I don't have a career is because I want to take care of my man. I love taking care of my man. I love taking care of my man. He takes care of me. I take care. What do you do for a living? Nothing. I stay home. I cook. I clean. I work out to make sure I look good for him. I cook him 3 meals a day. He takes good care of me. Nope, they don't want to do that.
Or they'll be like, you just, I'll take care of everything. It's fine. It's like, no.
Why are you? Well,
do you hear what she just said? Like I'll just take care of you. Everything is fine. She said that like it's a bad thing.
Why are you dating in the first place?
There you go.
And
right.
That's why I'm not.
No, why were you in those relationships?
Well, at the time I thought that it was what I wanted. So I was, but trial and error. And once I realized that maybe this not was for me, I just kind of.
Look at Kevin's face. So you mean to tell me you were in relationships where the man wanted to take care of everything financially, but you decided it wasn't for you?
I just stepped back from the pool because I feel like at the time I didn't know what I really wanted. And it just wasn't meshing. Like him and his wants and my wants. It just wasn't it.
Why am I in those relationships? I was ultimately looking for like long term. Like when I date, like it's not to be just doing it. It is to like for marriage.
Was that what he wanted? Nope.
No.
Of course not.
Why it didn't work? Because that's why you.
When I often hear women talk about relationships,
see all these women, see what they just did here, guys, and they're not going to realize this until much, much later in life. But what they did is these 2 or 3 women have just talked to us about who they will describe as the one that got away or the ones that got away 10, 15 years from now. They're telling us that they have had opportunities with men who wanted to take care of them. I don't want you to work. I don't want you to pay the bills. No, I got it. They decided to leave that relationship. 10, 15 years from now, they're going to be like, you know what? I should have stayed with that guy. Every woman every woman, single, married or not, every woman who rides the carousel, they've had more than one opportunity with a high value guy or a guy that could have taken care of them. They do. And they rejected those guys because they thought they'd always be around, or men like them would always be around. Doesn't work that way. If a woman is lucky, if she's lucky, she'll get 1, possibly 2 golden opportunities to be set for life by consolidating on the right man. The more attractive you are, the more opportunities you have. But even super attractive women are turning down these relationships thinking that they're always going to be around. And this is exactly what these 2 or 3 women just talked about. Yeah, I've been in relationships like that, trial and error. It's not what I wanted. Pfft. Talk to me when you're 38.
In such ways, you're not dating with intention.
They're not dating.
No, you're not dating with intention.
I feel like it's mutual.
No, you're not dating.
No, yeah, you just said, so the woman just said, hey, he said, I'm going to take care of everything. I don't want you to work. That sounds like dating with intention to me. He's dating with the intention of taking care of that woman, taking her off the market. But when Kevin says you're not dating with intention because they're not picking these women, no, you're not dating. No, bitch, you're not dating with intention. You just talked about the men that you had opportunities with. No, you're not dating with intention.
With intention. A man cannot make you date him.
That's right.
You choose everyone women choose who has access, who has sex and who gets born. Men choose who gets married. But you guys choose who you deal with. So if you're going into a dating situation without clear intentions or with not understanding what their intentions are, is it the relationship?
And that was my downfall. I was kind of like the aggressor in, oh, okay, we should like be together, and then
So it's not the relationship.
See, she's lying.
Though. It's the person you were with.
She's lying.
What you chose.
Yeah.
So which is it? Which is it? Did you end the relationship or did you try to get into the relationship? So first she was like, well, he told me he's going to take care of everything. I said, that's not, I realized that's not what I wanted. But now she's telling us, oh, I said, let's be in a relationship. Nah, man. She's not telling the truth. She's not telling the truth. Somebody's lying.
Yeah, and I chose to date them without
There
clear
you go.
understanding
There it is.
who they actually want to be having a relationship to.
So by extension, if it makes you less than or less big, is it the relationship? Or is it the original?
Johnny Green says, can't wait for the main event. I have no idea what that is. Yeah, I don't really know what the main event is. So let a nigga know.
Problem that you weren't dating with intention and finding somebody that you were compatible with. See, oftentimes when you talk about relationships, you talk about the stuff that doesn't work. We all pick who we deal with.
That's right.
What I'm hearing, and I want you to tell me, do you hear the same thing? I'm hearing you guys talk about relationships in terms of fear, scarcity,
and lack. That's right.
Which tend to end up in some sort of anxiety or stress. If you were a man listening to this, would you want to date women who thought of you in this term?
Nope.
I'm not a man, so I wouldn't know.
Oh, bitch, stop.
Okay.
See, here we go. Here we go. Would you date you? Well, I'm not a man, so I don't know. That means she knows the answer is fucking no. That's what Kevin's asking him. Hey, all you guys have talked about here, just listening, would you date a man who is just like you? And of course, she gave the answer in bat. Well, I'm a man, so I don't know.
If you were mankind, and this is how women are talking about relationships and men in general, would you feel good about being a man?
Of course not.
No, I don't think there's anything wrong with them though.
There's nothing wrong with men?
Well, like, I guess if
They're
I was
not
looking on the
ultra
outside, I wouldn't take it like, oh,
We're such a problem.
yeah, that's what I'm trying to say.
Yeah.
Like I wouldn't take it so personal.
Really?
That's their.
Really?
I wouldn't take it. Oh, so women are impossible. They're complete bitches. They say that they don't need us. They only want us for our money and our sperm, and that we're pretty much useless. But no, don't take it personal. These fucking bitches, dude.
Have you not turned on the news? Men are scrubs, men are
Yeah.
trash.
Okay then.
Where does it come from?
Yes, it comes from
I
y'all.
feel like also like
Don't do that.
They knew that he was trash. You know what
Okay.
I'm saying? Like, and I feel
Okay,
like
but you pass over, but you okay. But where does it come from? Men don't just hear these things, they come from somewhere. They
Yes,
come
right.
from the very conversations we're having right now.
There it is.
Men hear this. Men have heard their mothers, their grandmothers, their aunties, their nannies talk about how your daddy ain't this. Okay, so what is ultimately being communicated to men? I don't want to need you.
That we're not necessary.
You really don't impact my life. When I'm with you, if it's not necessarily as big, it's not good, I'm not as big. So what are modern women ultimately telling men that you want from them? You don't even want to live with him.
Right.
no.
You want to
There
have
you
his
go.
You want to have children with. You want the kids, but you don't want him.
Yeah, you want his DNA, but you
That's
don't want him to
crazy,
be
isn't
around.
It is.
Yeah.
But I think a man would challenge that. I think men.
No, I
don't
think most men will
necessarily-
leave you alone.
Yes.
Yeah, they're not gonna. You're
Right.
saying
Most men are not going to tolerate it.
There you go. See that? See that? So she says, well, I think most men would challenge that. Fuck no. What the fuck is wrong with you?
Really, nigga?
Most men are going to challenge that? No. Men are not challenging that. Men are walking the fuck away. Men are constantly told, we're not necessary. We ain't shit. We're scrubs. Right? We're all potential rapists, blah, 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 blah. Listen, man. I've said this before, and I'll say it again. I'm not the guy who is going to bag on guys who have checked out of the dating market, okay? I'm not going to endorse that. I'm not going to endorse that you give up. But I understand why men are walking away because of this. No, dudes aren't tolerating that nonsense. Don't nobody want to deal with a fucking headache.
Oh.
No. Understand what I mean. There's only one way to keep score with what men do by who they marry.
That's right.
All men will have sex with all of y'all.
That's right.
They'll tolerate all of you. They'll smash. But wife you? Hell no.
Oh! Wow. Kevin dropped the bomb on that last one. He said, but wife you? Hell nah. Wow. Kevin dropped the bomb on that. All right, guys. That is going to do it for this episode of That's What She Said. My thanks to the lovely and talented Janelle Gordon for her contribution. Guys, be sure to go and subscribe to her channel. And we will see you guys next time. Take care.